Hello, beautiful and sad people on the internet. Welcome to my video of thought format. This is a series I want to continue. Uh, to anyone new listening, or you just have stumbled upon this video, this is not exactly very coherent or well edited, or it's well prepared. There's no script, nothing in me. It's just a bit about rant about my life, uh, the the things I'm facing. So if for any reason you don't want to get bothered by my shitty problems or my shitty life, you can just close the video and go ahead or do whatever you want. But this is more of an series where I just want to share something that's very deep and concerning to me. To the just internet is just like for me shouting onto the empty cave. I hope someone listens, but if someone doesn't listen to it, it's fine for me. Uh, but anyway, if you want to listen to my brand and my shitty voice, you can. Um, anyway, as you can see, if you've seen the thumbnail or even the video itself running, the video is titled "Class Clown," and I want to get back to that topic in a little bit later. But let me start with something that's really bothering me over this couple of weeks. Was for a long time, like my parents and were very introverted, and we were very enclosed, hyper independent. So like we just said, oh fine, we have to figure out life by ourselves, and we can't ask anyone this thing. And so one thing that I never got from my childhood was to being emotional or to understand emotions very clearly. And as I grew up from in my life, there were a couple of things that I missed. One of the thing is like I never had any brothers sisters, and so even that interaction never happened. So that was the first thing that sometimes helps you to interact with someone who is not you in more clear manner. And then I joined school when I was young, and then out of just mere wish to belong to someone or have friends or to just to have some kind of connection, I used to like be very mischievous. I used to like hit other kids. I used to like throw something, and it was just like a bit of mischievous thing which I used to do. And so it was, since they were not my cousins or brothers sisters, not even my parents, and like that I used to do. So what my school teacher used to just like used to call my parents, like, come this Saturday, your son has eaten this thing, your son had beaten this thing, your son doesn't obey me, or your son doesn't la 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 la. So enough sense just to connect with someone. I didn't know how to do it, and oftentimes the way I did it bothered other people and teachers. So my mom also got over years frustrated that, this is a guy who's my son, and he's doing this thing. I can't be, I can't even help, not help, but like I'm very tired of this guy. So there was a quite of like, it's not resentment out of hatred, but it's just tiredness. Like, how do I handle this kid? Like, one thing my mother always wanted was someone, it's not smart but well behaved kid, which I think so everyone wants, regardless of it, and something she didn't go. So very early on, my the thing which I could express myself, or I can have my emotions open up, was very early on beaten out of me. like by either by teachers, sometimes by my mom also. So over years, I like the as soon as I grew a little bit, I become very calm and quote unquote idle kid, and he is very disciplined and blah blah blah. But even then, like even till school, by the end of the school, I was very this mischievous kid, but it is tremendously subs. You can say calmed down, or you can say it's very much beaten down. And uh, then I was like quote unquote this idle kid that society wanted, not smart or not you know uh, extremely intelligent kid. Which was funny thing that before, when I was young, when actually my mom used to uh, take uh, like it's not homeschooling, but it's like she used to tutor me in little on other all the subjects. So she used to make sure that I learn everything. I was actually much intelligent, much smarter than that then. But soon as I grew out of it, like I like rebelled against my mom. Like, I have to and carry out my studies by me and everything. But in short, like the more I grew out of it, the more like my grades didn't matter, but like it was the way this kid that he used to be well listened, he's well behaved kid, and in very exterior way, it seems very natural. Even like I fool myself that I'm this now perfect kid, but over a long time through this process, one thing I never learned was like how to be emotional or like how to express yourself, how to open up things because very early on that was not like people generally open up verbally, like they cry or sometimes very expressively by physically they cry or they sing, but they more and more grow, they more get angry about something, but they sentences and words. That was something was very discouraged very early on, and then I even like lost a track of fine. This is how you open up someone, and like this is how you express your own problems or your needs. Is as like that was just considered like your needs is a shit. You create problem. You should not have that's everything. So like in that transition period, what I went was from this mischievous kid to slowly turning into this very class clown figure who, and one of the thing is like if you know a class clown, he or she is more likely somewhere has been rejected or been outcasted by school, family, or someone the day of, or even like your classmates that end up trying to impress people. And my idea of being class clown was just to crack jokes or say something so ridiculous that entire class will laugh. And that was an attempt to fit in some friend circles or desire to have some humanly connection with someone, and in very friendship way, in friendly way. Sorry, and like I still remember one day. I think so. Uh, like teachers just they were just making noise, and teachers screamed out, "Oh, like who is making noise?" And I said Ryan, apparently. And funny thing is, there was no guy called Ryan in my class, and everybody was looking like, "Who the fuck is Ryan?" And even teacher was like, "Stand." Teacher went like, "Ryan, stand up, please. Stop making noise." And like everyone was looking stupid, like, "Who the fuck is Ryan?" Yeah. So that's my one of the events of being a class clown, by the way. But like, it's interesting because once you become class clown, your attempt to be with someone in a very close and friendly manner, it never comes to fruition because you end up becoming a clown at the end of it. Like people might laugh, but like you're still an outcast. You your attempts will fail. Because this is something that what you never did was you always made to please them in order to gain some kind of emotional connection with them or friendly connection with them, which is a very bad idea, which I'm realizing very recently. The funny thing is, in just last year or two, all the bad things, all the worst things that happen in childhood, school, everything, it's now coming up, and this at my mid 20s, and it's really making me depressed. But I just want to say this thing. But on the back to the topic of classroom, that is a thing that one of the example, like how like I wanted to make genuine connection with people, and I tried these things, like one of the class clown, and it's always come to like, let's make the person happy, or let's make this happy. It's like being a people pleaser, because at the end of the day, like no one showed you like this is how you form connection with someone, because that kind of goes back to where my family being very hyper independent, and like we were not even today, like my family, we're not very economically strong, and so like you have to make, like from my parents perspective, they had to sacrifice something, like family functions or gatherings or etc etc, where like you have to spend X amount of money, like in kind of contribution manner. But since we didn't have enough, like we didn't wanted to spend anything on it, so like we just kind of stopped, uh, even like going to gatherings or everything, to the family functions, etc etc, or even like, and also uh, from my parents side, it was very much like, actually like more than my father, my mom had a bit of line of thought, which is not being under someone else's thumb. So like it's like not being dependent, but it's not exactly being dependent, but it's like avoiding being dependent to the point where you just avoid people. Like I remember, like when I was small, uh, one of my friend, I don't know what his name is, what was his name, but I guess, I don't know, but let's call him John. So like he called me and he said, "Hey," yeah, and we were very small actually, like not even like 10 or something. And he said, "Hey, I have birthday party at my house. You can come with me." And I said, "Yeah." So I went to my house. Said like a mom said, "Oh, John is calling. He has a birthday party." And my mom was like, "But his mom has not called, invited us." I said, "Yeah, but he had told me." So he said, "No, you're not going to that guy's birthday because he is invited, but his mom has not invited." It's a very strange kind of logic, but like it made sense in certain sense. Like it's not officially invited, and like if you're going there, then like you're not, and something like that. But like I end up not going. So it's like this little things that you need to kind of learn this very emotional intelligence, like how to interact with someone, or how to be with someone, or how to understand from their problems. It kind of never came, and that not only affected my ability to make friends, but also like to have relationships. Like throughout my life, I I never had any relationship. Like I'm like at the end of my 20s, and I shouldn't still didn't had any relationship. Now the funny thing is, for over like couple of years back, I used to think, hey, I don't have girlfriend, so let me go on internet and search, how to have girlfriends, how to take this and date everything, and like it was always like, oh, go ahead and talk to girls, just talk to girls, they're not scary creature, and I was like, I talk to girls all the time, like that's not a problem. I can talk to girls. But only thing is that I can't go anything beyond this very formal way of interaction with them. Or this is my funniest thing is like I will often crack jokes, but it would be very like superficial level, and like they get interested in you and then suddenly they lose interest in you. They think that you are not you're not interested in them and they just go away. And the funny thing is like this the very thing that uh like you are very good at like interacting with someone, but you don't get close. What like pointed out to me by one of my friend, like she said like you you're very funny and everything, you talk to us, but you don't let anyone get into your within your aura. So, and this was exactly the very strange phrase she said, like you don't let people in your aura, and like I was like, what the fuck is this? And I went back home and I had a bit of reflecting thoughts about it, and I understood. Oh, I see that. Like that's the again the topic which I talked about before. Like it's not just important just to interact with someone. I think so. Like this is very forced people of say people who can't make friends. Just make friends. Like yeah, like making friends is not that hard. It's making friends that are really, really, really interested in you. That's a very kind of critical thing, which some people are very like good at it, which I genuinely admire them. But you know, shitty life. But yeah, so like that's the thing. Like then I never had a relationship, and like now I've have little bit doubts. Like if if I never had a relationship now, then now I need to have a relationship now. Otherwise, uh, you know, like I have one. I don't know if this is just wrong or like I fear like since didn't have a relationship a long time, I'm gonna screw the first relationship up. So I need to make sure that first relationship comes in my life very quickly, so I could have a much better second relationship. But like I think so. My other problem is I overthink a lot, and also like I take like a little bit clues, and I just make it's like making a mountain out of a mole. Or there's a or I like to call the situation like this, like me, is like shitty Sherlock Holmes. Like we end up taking little bit cues, and we just fine. She didn't say this thing. She did that thing, or he did said this thing, and then we little bit conclusion we draw, and we just like okay, they might not like me. We just go back off, which is bad. But anyway, like on the topic before, which I was saying is yeah. So like that was a big problem. Like I didn't had anything in a relationship, so like that is a very thing which I'm missing now, and people now misinterpret it as that I'm not interested in them, or like he's not interested, he's just like playing. Like, because the funny thing is many of our like people who I always made friends, like they're not close but they were friends at point. They always said to me like you seem very arrogant before I met you or before I interacted with you, but you seem very cool guy, or like I thought you're a very narcissistic person. Uh, like you in your own way in life, and then I met you very recent. And I was like, yeah, I think so. I might be giving a vibe that I'm very this superficial and not like I consider any other people as and like it's not that I like this is one of the thing I don't know how to say it to people, but like I'm just having a hard time to express something, and always like I also have a bit of hypersensitivity. Like I can like read cues out of people, and this again comes back to the class round. Like one of the thing, like if you have friend or anyone who is hypersensitive, or he has been a class clown at some point of time, they're very hypersensitive about situations. Because let's say take a class clown is like it's very derogatory term which is used, and like he's our class clown. Like but one thing people don't realize is Being class clown is not that simple. Not only think that a class clown has to understand what is the teacher or something in context is there, and he or she has to take it in and attach it with something that would count as funny. Maybe some reference with your films, movies, songs, or something which other teacher have taught, or something with related to that subject, and crack a joke at the time, exactly at the point that it would be funny. I've been classroom all like for yeah long time in school, especially in like from in mid part of my schools, and I can tell you like out of 10 things I used to do to make people laugh, five used to work, and other just didn't used to work, or like six time it worked, four time whatever I did didn't work. So it's not that easy. And one thing I think so, what happens for me, class round, like we often like people pleaser, and one of the thing a people pleaser is we often end up becoming a very Sherlockish figure. Like we often try to understand people. Oh, fine. Why he's doing that? Oh, he's doing that thing. Oh, if I do this thing, I can impress him, or I can somehow make a good impression on him, and then he will like me. So like, there's a very strange structure that like pleasing, but what would please him? That the set of conclusions we draw from little bit, even from non-verbal cues. By the way, like I can tell if someone is not happy or happy, or someone's in certain need of certain things, I can sense it just by like their way of interacting or the way of facing. And I generally ask them, "Are you okay? Or do you need help?" And sometimes they just point, "Oh yeah, yeah, could you help me?" Without like they didn't even like announce it to anyone, like, "Hey, could you help me?" And then help. Look, I can just say, "Oh, I see he needs something," and like that's the thing. Like it's very funny that I can understand like they have some trouble everything, but like it's very hard for me to express my emotions, and that's where I think so it really screws me up. Like for me, like to make friends, I'm not that cool person. I'm a very boring, shitty person, but somewhere deep in I'm very interested in them, but just like I just don't know like little bit things like calling you friends, or interacting in certain situations or something, which it never even came to my brain. And it's like, and then I think so people, I always make a very, I've seen that I'll always make a very good impression in front of people or to someone who I'm trying to impress, but that's it. Like I think so. And then like, oh yes, they find, oh yeah, he's a bit of like boring, or he's into himself, and blah, 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 and there's kind of this drift away. Whereas I've seen other people who have hard time making a first impression, but like then once they make that entry, that they're very emotionally intelligent, that they can easily kind of just have it with them in more emotional way, and then they could, if there's a project like they, if there's a romantic connection, then they can easily kind of form connection because they at some point of time very emotional intelligent. This for me like I can do this very first good first impression and it's the last impression thing, and like then people just get like, oh yeah, he is boring there. And and like one thing I genuinely fear is I couldn't I may throughout my life I might not able to make an emotional connection with anyone. Like even if I somehow, I don't know why would someone be with me, but if I find a girlfriend, I feel like she would be like, "Oh, you're not fun. You're not this. You're boring. You're this. I'm leaving." Or like she finds someone better than like, yeah, and like, "Oh, you." But I don't know. Like, and also like I, I might get along with introverts better, but like the problem with introverted people is we just don't know one another. Like we just have locked in a home, and I don't know, because like something like I some kind of very smoothly kind of make friends and they have friendship, they openly talk, and like the way they interact often seems very strange to me, but it works somehow. Like people want to be with them, be around them, and then I see myself like people like, oh yeah, he's interesting at first, but then people say he's very boring because is that's the thing. So like those people are free, like they often say whatever in their mind with, like I'm not saying to say anything in the what's in their mind, but they get very free with the words and sentences. They could easily carry the flow. But like for me, like it's like, oh, dragging conversation. They're like I sometimes when I interact with girls, I can see in their like see in their faces like they're bored with me. Like sometimes I bring up such cliche topic like to impress them. Like if someone is if a girl is Italian, oh fine, let me pay. Like my I don't know whether this is proper or not, but my kind of like impressing someone is let's see where he or she is from, and then try to relate with her on or her him with that sort of knowledge. Like for example, if there's a German guy. Oh, you're from Cologne. Oh, I know it's very part of city. Oh, what is this and what is a metro and this and like I can easily form that connection. But then like, oh, okay, now what? Like I knew in telling her I liked her very much, so I knew that in Italian ragazza means women and ragazzi means gentlemen or something like that. And so I said, oh, I know a bit of this Italian words and everything, and I love lasagna and everything. And like somewhere I made direction, but that's it. Like I couldn't go beyond it. And then I saw another guy, like he didn't even like went to those topics, but he exactly had like certain phase of like his own charm. Like he would talk about topics and everything. But more than thing, I don't think it's so topic, but it's way he was charming in his way, to way he wanted to say things, he was openly saying and everything, and them, I think it's not I'm a bit jealous, but it's like, oh, I see it. Like he's more free than me in those certain sense. Like he could talk about things, I think, and like and to bring the topic, like this is something happened long back to me when I was very small. Something like I just because I was being very expressive, I was being mischievous, and that was my way of to express. Like somewhere down the line, at least my mom or some teacher would have said, "Hey, my mom tried, but I don't know. I was in he did douchebag, but I hope that someone in teachers would have said like, oh, he's a bit mischievous. Oh, I like somewhere if I would have got that guidance very early on, or somewhere like it has shaped me in such a way that it would not have like they would not have literally hindered or broken my very ability to express myself emotionally, but rather like kind of, oh, let's see, like can we help him? It never happened. So now I'm emotionally broken. Like I can understand your emotions, your problems very easily, but it's very hard for me to express my emotions instead of words or feelings, and that is something which you need for friendship. And like it's shit. Like another thing which I fear is like if I like I'm in the end of my 20s and had relationships, so like it's like I'm in. It's not I'm desperate, but like I'm in hurry to. I need to find someone, but like how can I find someone? Like if like even if some girl would go on date with me, like why would she be with me? Like if I'm just very like there's literally shell around me that like someone has to like poke into to get in, and then you find, oh, he has very emotions. I don't think girls have been bothered. Like girls have like generally I do believe that girls have hundreds of guys like just hey, I'm impressing you. So like I'd be just like some number 68 line and like, oh fine, fuck off, because it's very hard. I think so like that's one of the thing which I strongly believe is when you have kid who weird or something, try to like understand because like don't beat their themselves out of them. Is what I would say. Like it's like even like teachers used to make me feel so bad very young because of my mischievous behavior that I too till this date am very insecure about myself and like I constantly feel like, oh, I'm not going to do everything, and I know for a fact that it hurts introverts more than extroverts because we often do not have very good emotional support, and little things you say to us is going to affect us a long time, long time. I might be girlfriend and like she might say one thing to me, I might get very angry and I'm just will fume over it, like say to me, and then I would be because that's the thing that we do not have a lot of people like to just that this is not some my girlfriend is angry with me, like go to your friends and just like, I don't have that thing. That's why I'm so like I'm very cautious to be with friends with someone. I don't know. But I think so like that's topic for another day, like how you because like the topic which I would like to talk about in my next thought vomit is how do you end up becoming this very figure that has a shell around him and like you need to really break to get into that because like in reality very I'm not I'm human at the end of the day, like I have emotions, I'm really selfish. Somewhere I'm very understanding of people. I would try to do it, but no one will like see it. I guess like I don't know. Anyway, it's 30 minutes of rant about my worthless life. Um, by the way, like if any of are there, like do like check out my channel. I hate to say like and subscribe because I don't want to be the everyday YouTuber douchebag. But like if you genuinely like it, just check out the videos, like it, or like comment on it. Even if you hate it, just comment on it because I genuinely like criticisms. But thought format is one of the series. It's not meant for a content creation, but it's just my way of getting a therapy lesson because I can't afford psychiatry at this point of time. So it's just like you are my psychiatrist. So now you just listen to me rant. But yeah, like I hope like this thought moments which I make would relate to someone if someone is listening because no one wanna listen a brown guy yelling and with his shitty accent. But I hope someone would relate. Anyway, bye. Thanks.